cool winter's day in the north, and we've just decided we'd try something different to what we normally do. We often head out to the islands, and people always sort of have that false presumption that the further out you go the more fish there are. But looking at the forecast and looking on Google Earth, we decided we'd try up on the coastline just north of Whangarei. So we've driven up from Auckland this morning up to Marsden Cove and launched here. And in winter time you typically find there's some good diving on the coastline. We get a lot of John Dory once the temperature changes and drops, and the snapper as well. You get a lot of offshore breezes, so it's nice and flat and calm. And you typically find there will be more fish and crayfish on the coastline than there will be at the outer islands. So we're going to head up just along the coastline here. I've looked on Google Earth, I haven't dived here much, and seen some nice rocky outcrops we'll go have a look at and see how we go. Diving in a harbour, you typically want to align it with the high tide. So typically I'll dive maybe 1 hour before the high tide and 1 hour after, just to see what the bait fish are doing and see when the predatory fish are more likely to be near the mouth. Normally you'll find the best visibility will be with the incoming tide because it pushes the clearer water in. So diving low tide or the last of the outgoing tide is typically not the best option if you're diving in the harbours. It's right in the middle of the day, it's nearly low tide, so not a particularly great time to be in the water. It's been pretty quiet and pretty typical of a winter's day. Not a huge amount of fish around, beautiful clear water, 15 metres viz probably. We've got a small snapper and a couple other fish, so we thought we'd give up on that and we'd go on shallow and have a look for some crays around low tide, and we were lucky enough to find plenty. There was plenty of them right in shallow. You'll see in the footage anywhere from sort of 1/2 metre to 3 metres. We're finding heaps of crays. You'll see we even found some had shed their shells, some had eggs, so we had to let them go as well. If the crayfish is too soft, we've got to let it go. You see how they climb out between their tail and the top of their carapace there. So now we're just going to wait. We're going to wait for the turn of the tide and see if the incoming tide changes our luck with the fish. Hopefully we find a few more snapper and maybe a John Dory with the change of the tide. We'll see at the end of the day.